A 7-year-old girl watched her father's fiancée make his lunch. She saw the woman add drops from a secret bottle into the soup. When her rich father was about to eat, the little girl screamed, "Don't eat it, Daddy. She put poison in your food." Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. David Miller was one of the richest men in the city. He owned hotels, restaurants and many businesses. At 45 years old, he had everything money could buy, except happiness. His wife had died 3 years ago, leaving him alone with his 7-year-old daughter, Emma. Emma was a quiet, smart little girl with big brown eyes and curly hair. She missed her mother terribly, but she loved her father more than anything in the world. David worked very long hours, so Emma spent most of her time with Rosa, their kind housekeeper who had worked for the family for 10 years. 6 months ago, David had started dating Victoria Sterling, a beautiful woman who claimed to love him. Victoria was 35 years old, with perfect blonde hair and expensive clothes. She said all the right words and acted like she cared about David. But Emma never liked her. "There's something wrong with Miss Victoria," Emma told Rosa one day while they were baking cookies in the kitchen. "What do you mean, little one?" Rosa asked gently. "She's different when Daddy isn't looking," Emma said. "She's mean to me. And she looks at our house like she wants to take everything." Rosa frowned. She had noticed some strange things about Victoria too, but David seemed happy for the first time since his wife died. Victoria had moved quickly in their relationship. After only 4 months of dating, she convinced David to propose to her. The wedding was planned for next month. Victoria had already started changing things in the house, throwing away Emma's mother's pictures and redecorating rooms. "This house needs a woman's touch," Victoria would say with a fake smile. But Emma saw the truth. When David wasn't around, Victoria was cold and mean. She told Emma that things would be very different after the wedding. "Your father won't have time for a silly little girl anymore," Victoria whispered to Emma one day. "He'll have a real woman to take care of now." Emma cried herself to sleep that night, but she was too scared to tell her father. She was just a child, who would believe her? On this particular Tuesday morning, David was getting ready for an important business lunch at his favorite restaurant. He was meeting with investors who wanted to buy one of his hotels. The deal would make him even richer than he already was. Victoria offered to pack his lunch for the meeting. "Let me take care of you, darling," she said sweetly, kissing his cheek. "I made your favorite sandwich and some soup. You work so hard, you need proper food." David smiled and hugged her. "Thank you, sweetheart. This is why I love you so much." Emma watched from the stairs as Victoria prepared the lunch. Something felt wrong, but she couldn't understand what it was. Victoria was being extra nice, which always made Emma nervous. After Victoria packed the lunch in a nice container, she left it on the kitchen counter and went upstairs to get ready for her hair appointment. David was still in his office, finishing some phone calls before leaving for his meeting. Emma came down to the kitchen where Rosa was washing dishes. "Rosa, I'm worried about Daddy," Emma said quietly. "Why, little one?" "Miss Victoria is acting weird today. She keeps smiling too much." Rosa dried her hands and knelt down to Emma's level. "What do you mean?" "She made Daddy's lunch, but she was putting something extra in it. Something from a little bottle she hid in her purse." Rosa felt her heart skip a beat. "Are you sure, Emma?" "Yes." When she thought nobody was looking, she put drops from the bottle into Daddy's soup. Then she stirred it and acted normal again. Rosa and Emma looked at each other with growing fear. What had Victoria put in David's food? "We have to tell your father," Rosa said firmly. "But what if we're wrong?" Emma asked. "What if Daddy gets angry at us?" "Emma, listen to me," Rosa said seriously. "If something bad happens to your father, we'll never forgive ourselves. We have to try to stop him." They heard David coming down the stairs. He was dressed in his best suit, ready for his important meeting. "Where's my lunch?" David asked, looking around the kitchen. Victoria appeared, perfectly dressed and made up. "Right here, darling," she said, handing him the container. "Everything you need for a successful meeting." Emma's heart was beating fast. She had to do something, but she was scared. What if she was wrong? What if she ruined everything? David was about to leave when Emma ran to him and grabbed his arm. "Daddy, wait," she cried. "Please don't eat that food." David looked down at his daughter in surprise. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Emma looked at Victoria, who was staring at her with cold, angry eyes. Emma knew this was her only chance to save her father. "Miss Victoria put something bad in your food," Emma said, her voice shaking. "I saw her put drops from a bottle into your soup." David laughed, not taking her seriously. "Emma, that's silly. Victoria would never do anything to hurt me." Victoria stepped forward with a fake concerned look. Oh my goodness, David. I think Emma is jealous because we're getting married. Children sometimes make up stories when they feel threatened. I'm not lying. Emma cried, tears streaming down her face. Rosa saw me watching. Tell him, Rosa. Rosa stepped forward nervously. Mr. David, Emma came to me very worried. She said she saw Miss Victoria adding something to your food from a small bottle. David looked confused and a little annoyed. This is ridiculous. Victoria, show them there's nothing wrong with the food. Victoria's smile faltered for just a second, but she quickly recovered. Of course, darling. I'll prove there's nothing wrong. She reached for the container, but Emma suddenly had an idea. If the food is safe, then Miss Victoria should eat it first, Emma said loudly. Everyone in the room went quiet. Victoria's face went pale. That's not necessary, Victoria stammered. David needs to eat it. It's his lunch. But if it's safe, you wouldn't mind taking a little bite, would you? Rosa asked, now suspicious too. David was starting to realize something was wrong. Victoria, what's going on? Why won't you taste the food? This is insane, Victoria said, her voice getting shaky. I don't have to prove anything to a child and a housekeeper. But Emma wasn't giving up. She grabbed the container from Victoria's hands and held it tight. Daddy, please don't eat this, Emma begged. Something is very wrong. Miss Victoria is scared to taste her own food. David looked at his daughter's terrified face, then at Victoria's pale, nervous expression. For the first time he started to doubt his fiancée. Victoria, please just take one small bite, David said quietly. If there's nothing wrong, it will calm Emma down. Victoria's hands were shaking now. I can't. I'm not feeling well. My stomach is upset. Then why did you make food for me when you're sick? David asked, his voice getting harder. Victoria realized she was trapped. She looked around the room like a frightened animal, then suddenly grabbed her purse and ran toward the door. Stop her. Rosa shouted. But Victoria was already gone, running out of the house as fast as she could. David stared after her in shock, then looked down at the container of food in Emma's hands. His little daughter had just saved his life. Emma, he said softly, kneeling down to hug her. How did you know? I've been watching her for months, Daddy, Emma said, crying into his shoulder. She's not nice like she pretends to be. She doesn't really love you. She just wants your money. David held his daughter tight, feeling sick to his stomach. How could he have been so blind? How could he have trusted someone who wanted to hurt him? We need to call the police, Rosa said, already reaching for the phone. Within an hour, the police had arrived and taken the food container as evidence. They also searched Victoria's room and found the small bottle she had used. The bottle contained a powerful poison that would have killed David within hours. Detective Martinez explained everything to David and Emma. This poison is very dangerous, the detective said. If you had eaten that food, Mr. Miller, you would have died before reaching the hospital. Your daughter saved your life. David looked at Emma with tears in his eyes. My brave little girl. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you before. It's okay, Daddy, Emma said, hugging him. I knew you would believe me when it was really important. The police found Victoria at the airport, trying to catch a flight to another country. When they arrested her, they discovered that her real name was Victoria Chin, and she had done this before. She had married 3 other rich men in different cities, poisoned them, and stolen their money. She's been planning this for months, Detective Martinez told David. She researched your family, learned about your wife's death, and planned to marry you and then kill you. Your daughter's inheritance would have been her next target. David felt sick thinking about how close he had come to disaster. Emma had not only saved his life but probably her own life too. Over the next few weeks, David's whole world changed. He realized how much he had neglected Emma while he was busy working and dating Victoria. He had almost lost everything that truly mattered. Emma, I want to make some changes, David told his daughter one evening as they sat together in the garden. I'm going to work less and spend more time with you. Really, Daddy? Emma's eyes lit up. Really? And I'm never going to ignore your feelings again. You tried to warn me about Victoria, and I should have listened. I was scared you would be angry at me, Emma admitted. I could never be angry at you for trying to protect me, David said, holding her close. You're the most important person in my world. David kept his promise. He hired managers to run his businesses so he could spend more time with Emma. They went to the park, played games, read books together, and had long talks about everything. Emma told him about all the times Victoria had been mean to her when he wasn't looking. She explained how Victoria had thrown away pictures of Emma's mother and said cruel things about replacing her. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," David said. "I should have seen what was happening." "It's not your fault, Daddy." She was very good at pretending. Rosa was promoted to be the family's head housekeeper and given a big raise. David realized that she had been more loyal to his family than his own fiancée. "Rosa, you've been like a grandmother to Emma," David said. "Thank you for believing in her when I didn't." "That little girl has special instincts," Rosa said. "She can see people's hearts. You should always listen to her." 6 months later, Victoria was sentenced to life in prison for attempted murder and fraud. The trial revealed that she had killed her 3 previous husbands and stolen millions of dollars. Emma testified in court, telling the judge how she had seen Victoria put poison in her father's food. The judge praised Emma for her bravery. "Young lady, you are a hero," the judge said. "Your courage and love for your father stopped a very dangerous criminal." After the trial, David and Emma went on a long vacation together. They traveled to beaches, mountains, and cities, making up for all the time they had lost. "Daddy, can I ask you something?" Emma said one day as they watched the sunset over the ocean. "Anything, sweetheart." "Are you ever going to get married again?" David thought carefully before answering. "Maybe someday if I meet someone who truly loves both of us. But I'll never make that decision without talking to you first. Your opinion matters to me." "Good," Emma smiled. "Because next time I'll make sure she's really nice before you even have dinner with her." David laughed. "Deal. You're my best judge of character." When they returned home, David made more changes. He started a foundation to help children who were in dangerous situations, just like Emma had been. The foundation taught kids to trust their instincts and speak up when something felt wrong. Emma's foundation became famous for protecting children and helping families. Emma, now 8 years old, helped her father plan programs and visit schools to talk to other kids. "Trust your feelings," Emma would tell groups of children. "If something doesn't feel right, tell a grown-up you trust. Even if you're scared, even if you think nobody will believe you, keep trying until someone listens." David would watch his daughter speak and feel proud beyond words. This brave little girl had not only saved his life but had become a voice for other children who needed protection. 1 year after the incident with Victoria, David and Emma were having breakfast when Emma made an announcement. "Daddy, I think we should get a dog." "A dog?" David laughed. "Why a dog?" "Because dogs are good at knowing if people are bad or good." A dog would have known Victoria was dangerous right away. David realized his daughter was right again. Dogs had instincts about people that were often better than human judgment. "What kind of dog do you want?" David asked. "A big one that can protect us but also friendly enough to play with kids at our foundation." So they adopted Max, a German shepherd from the local animal shelter. Max turned out to be perfect, gentle with children but protective of his family. He became the official mascot of Emma's foundation. As Emma grew older, she never lost her special ability to see people's true nature. She helped her father choose good employees, trusted friends, and eventually, when she was 16, she helped him meet Sarah, a kind teacher who genuinely loved them both. "I like Miss Sarah," Emma told her father after meeting Sarah for the 3rd time. "She's real. She doesn't pretend to be someone else when you're not looking." "Are you sure?" David asked, smiling. "Very sure. She even likes Rosa's cooking, and she didn't try to change anything in our house. Plus, Max likes her and Max is never wrong about people." David married Sarah 2 years later, and Emma finally had the loving stepmother she deserved. Sarah adopted Emma officially and they became a real family. On Emma's 18th birthday, David gave her a special gift, a locket with a picture of her biological mother on one side and a picture of Sarah on the other. "Both of your mothers would be proud of the woman you've become," David said as he put the locket around Emma's neck. "And they would both be proud of the father you became too," Emma replied, hugging him tight. Emma went on to study psychology and social work in college. She wanted to help more children learn to trust their instincts and protect themselves from dangerous people. But she never forgot the day when she was 7 years old and saved her father's life by trusting her feelings about Victoria. That day taught her the most important lesson of her life. Love gives us the courage to speak up, even when we're scared. The lunch container that Victoria had poisoned was kept as evidence in the police station. Sometimes Emma and David would drive by the police station and remember how close they had come to losing everything. "That little bottle of poison could have destroyed our whole family," David would say. "But love was stronger than poison," Emma would reply. "Love always wins." And she was right. Love had won. The love between a father and daughter had been strong enough to overcome deception, danger, and evil. Emma's courage to speak up, even when she was scared, had saved not just her father's life but their entire future together. Every year on the anniversary of that terrible day, David and Emma would have lunch together at their favorite restaurant. But David would always let Emma choose the food, and he would always listen carefully to any concerns she had. "Promise me something, Daddy," Emma said on one of these anniversary lunches when she was 21 years old. "Anything. Promise me you'll always remember that the people who love you most will tell you the truth, even when it's hard to hear." "I promise," David said, taking his daughter's hand. "And promise me you'll always speak up when something feels wrong, no matter how scary it seems." "I promise too, Daddy." They sat together, father and daughter, grateful for the bond that had saved them both and made them stronger than they ever could have been alone. Emma's courage on that frightening day had taught them both that love, trust, and honesty were the most powerful forces in the world. The little girl who had once stopped her father from eating poisoned food had grown into a strong woman who spent her life protecting other children. And David, the man who had almost lost everything to greed and deception, had learned that the greatest treasure he possessed was sitting right across from him, his brave, loving daughter who would always tell him the truth.